sir. We paid something already. I guess that was just a deposit. That was just. Yeah, I'm curious what it would be.
Find out soon.
Yeah. We'll see.
You had? Okay. So you may just want.
Okay, all right, perfect. They're not on your screen? They're usually on the screen. I need the paper one, otherwise I'll get in your faces. Oh,
Thank you for everyone's patience. We're just having some difficulty.
Recording in progress.
Hello, welcome to our regular meeting of the Hollister Planning Commission on April 23rd. The meeting is now called to order and it is 6:20. Staff, please call the roll.
Chair Carla Torres de Luna,
Here.
Vice Chair Peter Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Damian Perez.
Here.
I was gonna say, we need to mute ourselves.
Okay, I'm gonna continue. Commissioner Julio Rodriguez,
Present.
and for the record, Commissioner Stephen Belong is out tonight.
Okay, would anyone like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I will.
Thank you.
Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So next we have public input. This is the time for anyone in the audience to speak on an item not on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Speaker cards are available in the lobby and are to be completed and given to staff before speaking. When the commission secretary calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the commission. If you are joining us by Zoom, please click on the bottom of your screen to raise your hand. If you're joining us by Zoom using a cell phone, please press *9. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes per subject. Please note that state law prohibits the commission from discussing or taking action on any item. Do we have any, or I think that's it, right? And next we have consent item. Do we have questions from the commission on items on the consent agenda, or are there any other items the commission would like to pull? Nope. Staff, do we have public comment on the items for the consent agenda? Thank you.
We do not have any public comments.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, abstain, motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing on 6.2, extension of the tentative map 2021-5 and conditional use permit 2022-2 for planned unit development, Kramer Commons subdivision. And can we have the staff report?
PowerPoint. The item before you tonight is an extension of an approved tentative map for Kramer Commons, which was approved several years ago by the Planning Commission. Kramer Commons is located within our North Chapel Road Master Plan area. You can see the location on the map above you. There are some residential developments that are currently occurring in the North Chapel Road, in the Chapel Road Master Plan area. KB is currently under construction with Everglen. You recently approved an expansion for them, and some other projects should hopefully begin to build as well. Several have been approved in the area. Again, it's located located within North Chapel Road. It is currently zoned R1 LPZ, which is our Performance Overlay Zoning District. That is going to be changed with our updated zoning ordinance amendments, where it will become a planned development, because that's what it really functions as. But that hasn't taken effect, so they are still, as of today, zoned with the PZ overlay. The Chapel Road Master Plan area included benefits area-wide, so the linear parks that we have, the smaller parks, the larger parks against Highway 25, all the projects feed into each other to increase park acreage in the area. The item for you tonight is an extension of the tentative map that was previously approved by the Planning Commission. They are requesting an extension for 2 years, which would allow the map until April 23rd, 2028, and then it would expire if no final map has been filed for. Previously, in November of 2022, the Planning Commission approved the tentative map, as well as a conditional use permit for a planned unit development that is for the reduced size setbacks. These are smaller lots. And then in 2025, there was a minor amendment to the map that was approved by the Planning Commission. The project, as proposed, conforms to the general plan, which is currently in effect. They are proposing 4.27 dwelling units per acre, and we require currently, we require 1 to 8 dwelling units per acre. They also meet the requirements of the general plan with regards to health and safety due to noise from Highway 25, and their project will incorporate several measures to reduce noise, such as berming and other items within the houses that have been discussed in the EIR that was already certified. Again, it's zoned low density performance overlay, and they fall within that density requirement. Again, because these are smaller lots, they could not conform to the standard setbacks for R1. And as we've done with all of our other houses or developments within the PZ overlay, they have a conditional use permit for a planned development, which is the old way we used to do it to reduce the setbacks. The map was due to expire. The state has extended has passed several bills that have extended the life of maps, but currently, in order to have another 2 years, which is what our code allows the first 2 years, and then the second 2 years if you applied for extension and it's granted. That's it as far as our code goes. The applicant is requesting the extension due to financial hardships. We are aware it is expensive to build in California. There have been many things going on, so they are requesting the 2-year extension. So this would be 2 years from today, sorry. To back it up to the CEQA, just in case, again, you're wondering, we do have an EIR that is for the entirety of the Chapel Road Master Plan area. This project is a part of it, and they conform to that. And they are required to comply with all the mitigation requirements of the Chapel Road EIR. And then as part of their project, they do have to give us what we call an MMRP when they start to build, and that shows how they are going to comply with all of their mitigation measures. And so we will review that when appropriate. In conclusion, this extension, if you chose to grant it, which you have the decision tonight, it would extend another 2-year period for the map. That's the final extension per our code. The applicant did apply for the extension 30 days prior to expiration as required by our code, so they did meet that requirement. And the project is consistent with the requirements in effect today for the general plan and for the zoning. Of course, you have our standard 4 options, which is to approve with modifications, continue the hearing, or deny if you chose to do so, but staff is recommending that you approve the extension tonight. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions. The planner on the project is also here, and then the applicant would like to speak after.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the commission?
I just had one quick question. So in terms of, they're just asking for an extension, we can't put any more conditions at this point?
You could. It is an extension request. There is information in the staff report about items that if you wanted to, you could require it, or you could deny the extension request. That is within your purview. I would discuss it with the applicant to kind of get their side of where we're at. Projects in California take a long time to build.
Right.
It takes a long time for financing.
I just had one question, Erica. If, say, because it was conditional, it was approved with the conditional use
Mhm.
for the setbacks, that was
Mhm.
what they used.
Yes.
What if going forward, I were to say, just suggest, instead of using that conditional use, now we would like one, say, one moderate income, one affordable housing unit, use the density bonus instead of, or that be very belaboring in terms of forms and all that?
So that's changing their project, and that's requiring them to change to get a density bonus. I'm not sure we can actually do that.
Okay.
There are other things you can do. One unit wouldn't qualify them for a density bonus, though. Density bonus has certain percentages per income level. And I understand what you're saying with the CUP for a plan development. This is how we did it for many years.
Right.
And so when we updated the plan development, or when we came forward with the new plan development chapter, we acknowledge that there are still some of these other ones that had been approved, and we were going to allow them to continue without forcing them to rezone their property to plan
Right.
development, because we didn't want to stop these projects from happening. The plan development that we are using now is like projects from when that got enacted and forward.
Gotcha.
This would be similar. We have approved other extensions for other maps where they still continue to have this CUP for a plan development, and there's still a few more out there that are probably still relying on this. It's just because we did it in a different way. That doesn't necessarily make sense, but that's how we did it, and so
Okay.
we don't want to harm or hurt any projects because of the change that we've enacted.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? If not, we will.
I have a
oh,
question.
go ahead.
What is the impact once the general plan changes are enacted? Like, what is the impact on this project, if any?
So any project that still has their approval, they don't need to conform to the new general plan.
Okay,
So they get to continue on.
but there will be a misalignment.
There is a misalignment in where, like, in this particular case, the density goes up, they wouldn't make their density. The problem with this project is, we've done a master plan, we've done an EIR, everything in Chapel Road has anticipated the older general plan, or the 2005 general plan. So we've done all the studies, the work on a lower density, so this area in particular, is kind of getting impacted further with the general plan update, with the increase in density. But they can continue, in any project that's approved, they continue under the old regulations. We don't require, you to comply right away, and housing also is a different animal in the state of California. They have certain protections.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:33 PM. And do we have public comments on this item?
Yes, we have Victor Gomez.
Good evening, commissioners. Chair Torres, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. My name is Victor Gomez. For those that don't know, I'm here tonight representing Kramer Commons. I was brought on board in 2018 when we actually started this process, or at least I think we had like 5 years in back then, Tony, of getting the ball rolling on that complete master plan. But I want to address a couple of things before I make some broader statements. First of all, to your question, Commissioner Rodriguez, we didn't have an inclusionary requirement at that time. So I just want to make it clear to the entire commission, of course, including yourself who posed a question. Even though that wasn't in place, we didn't have to do this, but we did negotiate with the city 8 duplex units, or 16 units in total, as sort of a compromise to get us to around the 15% inclusionary, affordable by design, and that's why we went that route. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there, Commissioner Rodriguez. But again, just want to emphasize that we do support the staff recommendation, even though we're a little bit lower than the newly adopted requirements in low density. We're just shy of it at close to 5 units an acre, which I think your new span is, I think, 6 to 12, somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken. So we're just under it, but we still are low density. The new general plan that you all supported last month includes the same density, right, of low density residential. The project has also undergone full environmental review, as Erica stated. The project in its current entitlement or the way it was designed was to reflect the impacts, right? Like Erica mentioned, the sound mitigation that we're going to be providing. As you folks probably remember, we were here to make some revisions in November. So now the time is really ticking for us to get this going. We understand this is our last opportunity to get this done, but we're ready again to execute. We're hoping the market cooperates, of course, with us. In addition to that, I also want to mention to you that you do have, I forgot the exact name of it, but you do have the San Felipe Road or the San Felipe Corridor Master Plan. So from, I want to say Santa Ana Road up to, I want to say the bypass or Highway 25, the city does have a vision to make San Felipe Road more friendly. We do have a lot of investment that really wants to go into that corridor. That San Felipe Road plan is a complete streets plan, includes, I think, a roundabout at Gateway, also includes a new signalized intersection potentially at a new road right there next to the Honda Power Sports. And we are contributing. So each residential unit, again, in this negotiated terms or conditions of approval includes, I want to say it's about $2,500 per lot that has to be paid toward improving San Felipe Road as well. So again, just wanted to mention that because we also think that's important for complete streets and making sure that pedestrian safety, safe routes to school are included as part of our project. So happy to answer any questions you may have, but again, would appreciate your support for extending this map and again, giving us the additional 24 months to get our finances and things in order to move this project forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have other public comment?
We do not have any other speakers present. However, I do want to notate for the record that we have written comments from Tony Ariola and Barton Hedgeman, and the Planning Commission was provided copies of these.
Thank you. Yes, I was going to reference that too. And if there is no further, we could close the public hearing at 6:38. And is there further discussion from the commission on this item?
Yeah, affordable by design, does that mean it's gonna go to a low-income buyer, or you can't guarantee that?
Affordable by design refers to the cost of the house innately going down. So a duplex is smaller, you have a shared property line, those houses are usually a lot cheaper. Affordable by design would also be, let's say, a smaller house on a small lot, or things that bring down the cost of that house. It's not a 5,000 square foot lot with a 4,000 square foot house on it. Those are very expensive homes. So affordable by design means the intent is that it's just not as expensive as your standard single family.
But the sale's not controlled, right?
The sale is not controlled.
And what would be affordable in that?
Affordable's a moving target.
Yeah,
It always is.
yeah. I mean, I'm not asking for an
Yeah.
I can give
answer,
you
but-
the income categories if
Yeah.
you want,
but they would make it just less
Mhm.
but
By design.
by design.
But as Victor mentioned, one of the benefits of a master plan was we negotiated a lot of stuff out of the Chapel Road master plan area. We
Yeah.
have frontage improvements, we have payments, we have linear parks, we have, there's an area for an overpass, which will have, that project has never come forward. But there are many things that we negotiated out of them to make this a better project for the city. So that rather than where we just see a one standalone, single-family residential subdivision where they're not really giving us anything, this project is, the area-wide, these projects are giving us actually a lot.
Okay.
Just a question for the applicant, or if you guys have more comments, I can hold my question.
I do have one, but I think mine is probably less than yours. What is the impact on delayed projects on the infrastructure, right? Like, there's more projects come along they could build, they get ahead of the line. How does 2018, I forget what year the environmental study was from, how does that get updated to account? Because right now we're having issues with the sewage, so I'm wondering what would be the impact?
So when you do, let's say, an environmental impact report, for example, That environmental impact report is using both the data in the general plan, projects that have been approved, projects that are under construction, projects that are built. It is using it to formulate the impacts of this project in particular. Once that EIR is certified, any subsequent EIR in the city now has this base knowledge, and it's also building upon that. So again, this is a project that, a tentative map essentially confers a right to build. So it is a project in the city. It's been approved. Any subsequent EIR, so I'm trying to think of any, whatever last EIR we've done, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it is building on all of these as existing conditions. So the EIR doesn't need to get updated because any project coming after it assumes this development plus their own when building their environmental impacts. So they continue to not tier, because tiering in CEQA is a specific thing, but they build off each other as you move forward. All impacts are continuously addressed in the next EIR.
Do you have more to add?
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I could, really quick, just to try to expand a little bit on Erica's answer to Commissioner Perez. So as you probably know, the Council of Governments has a constraint list of projects that they want to see happen in the county. You have 3 different zones in the county. I want to say West County, like the Hollister area, and then south of like Ridgemark, which has a little bit less impacts. But that's specific to the temp fee, the traffic impact mitigation fee. That is a moving target. And I do believe that COG is actually reviewing that now. And I wish I could tell you that it goes down. It doesn't. So same thing with the sewer impact fee. It doesn't go down. It goes up. So the longer we wait, it's actually hurting us because the impact fees rarely ever go down. Building fees is a perfect example. Since we got our project approved, originally, I want to say that the building fees have nearly tripled, if I'm not mistaken, since 2021, I want to say. Is it the city's fault that we now have to pay triple the fees? No. We were delayed. COVID certainly had a huge impact on us. But again, just to answer your question, the fees generally do go up, so it does end up technically hurting us. But again, we understand we are having an impact on the community. We will pay whatever the fee happens to be at that time. We'll have to recalculate our numbers and set our prices by those rates. But we're prepared. We're prepared to pay whatever the fee is going to be at that time.
Victor, I had one question. Is the applicant planning to build these or sell this as an entitlement to someone who will build it?
Yeah, it could be a joint venture. We're exploring pretty much every possibility right now. Mr. Ariola is local, even though now he's up in the Bay Area, but he understands. I think Tony grew up. I think he could throw a rock to the property from his house, but he understands the community very well. We'd love to be able to build a project on our own. But whether we do a joint venture with a builder or somebody else buys the map and they build it on their own, again, they're going to have to conform to all these conditions of approval and requirements. So,
Sorry, since you're up here, if it's okay. And I did see Tony Ariola's name, and I think it's good that we support, people that are from here and that want to do good for our community. I remember, I thought years ago, was there conversation about school? Can you tell a little bit about where that went? Or?
Yeah. Originally, we actually were having discussions specifically with the Hollister School District on a potential site for a new school. They had identified, I want to say, 5 different areas of a potential school. I think, Carly, you may have been on the school district at that time. And then the board at that time revisited the locations and decided that the Chapel Road area was a little bit too close to Mays and, Lord help me, where the Dual Language Academy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, where the Dual Language Academy is. Felt that it was a little bit too close. It wasn't funneling the students from that area to where they wanted them to go. And so they backed off of it. It wasn't in our property. It's actually, that property is currently, I believe, owned by the Righetti family. So that's at least where the elementary school district was proposing a school. But we did negotiate. We did have those talks with the city, of course. We did have requirements for parks, so we thought, okay, let's leverage that discussion on the school and see what other amenities could help here. And that's when we actually came up with a thought of doing the linear park. So for those that are not aware or haven't seen the master plan, it does include a linear park, essentially from San Felipe, even though that's commercial, along the residential area all the way to Santa Ana Road. So you've seen a part of it right now because KB has actually developed the Dant Brigantino piece that was part of this master plan. They were a bit ahead of us and got that sold. They sold that map to KB. So if you look at the frontage park in that area, that park, once all these pieces, including ours, are developed, you're going to have a park where you could literally like jog around the entire area. That was part. That's why it's so important to have these master plans and specific plans in the GP that you guys just adopted, because it creates opportunities for better planning. I had this discussion with when he was on here, former Mayor Ignacio Velasquez, and he actually told Tony and I, if Ignacio's hearing, I'm sure he's going to be laughing at this, but he had actually told us, he goes, Victor, you know how I feel about residential development, but I got to say, you guys actually did this right. And I said, well, thank you. I'm going to celebrate that comment. I appreciate it very much. But I hope you agree. So,
Thank you, Victor. Any other questions?
No, I'll just finish off by saying, I think these are the projects that we kind of need, the missing middle.
It's considered an
I-
infill
yeah,
project, I guess.
yeah. So I think these are the projects that we basically need. There is a inherent affordability opposed to just single-family zoning, which is very constrictive to just one type of buyer. So I support that, and I'm ready to make a motion with some more comments.
Yeah, I think I agree with the sentiment, and this is the kind of projects that, for me as well, that I want to support. And just the considerations you all are making for the community and the school, even though you didn't end up having a school, but you thought about it and had the conversation, and just safety. I pass by there every day, so watching it develop. So thank you. Do we have a motion?
I would just say that, according to the general plan, 40% of our residents are low income, and this is not really going to meet the need or do anything. So, this is an existing project. It doesn't seem it's going to greater impact the sewage, but that might be another issue going on there. If everything was studied and considered and something's still happening, that's a separate issue, right? But I just don't feel like we're moving the needle on the need that the community has. There's a fear for development and just losing the identity of Hollister. But again, people in Hollister, 40% of them can't afford to live here. So I just don't know how we're going to meet that need with this project.
No, I think that's a good point that you make, Commissioner.
I mean, I agree. Just my final two cents is that, that's why the strategic plan conversation is going to be so important, because it'll set some goals, and from there, there's a way to address zoning or any future amendments to make sure that it meets those goals. Ultimately, yeah, the writing's on the wall. The state of California is struggling, and so the economy is only getting more expensive. I was actually going to ask, when Victor had mentioned about the increase in the fee structure, that what drives that cost? Like, what drives the increase in that fee structure, especially when there seems to be more desire to develop in our community? You would think that if there's already projects in line, like, how is that demand not being met, and then ultimately the cost not at least leveling off? Or is it like an inflation element? Like, what drives that cost?
Permit costs are steadily rising. There's a number of factors going into that. For planning, our costs are rising, but we're trying to be cost recovery. So we're trying to make sure that whenever someone is coming into the city, the general fund is not funding their development. So that is where our costs come from. We will be looking at our permit fees, but for planning, our fees are very low. I don't know that we're at full cost recovery on planning. But the goal ultimately is cost recovery, so that you are paying for your own project.
well, and then we could move on, but, I mean, and I appreciate that comment, because now it makes more sense. Because to a certain extent, like, you know, I get it, the state hasn't a desire to expedite the process for housing, but technically speaking, that's almost negatively impacting commercial, right, because of the priorities on housing. And that's why personally, I think back to the strategic plan, it's gonna be very important to have that conversation to maybe come up with an expedited process for commercial, so we can actually start seeing some revenue generation on the commercial side. Because the impact fees are just one time. The commercial can really, especially with the strategic plan, you can focus on, you know, bringing in the hotels or bringing in the sales tax base that we need.
Yeah, and we can definitely talk about it. I will, if it assures you in any way. We treat commercial the same as we treat housing. What our review deadlines are for housing, we apply those to commercial as well. It's for two reasons. One, I don't want to prohibit commercial. Two, it keeps us, to make sure we don't accidentally miss a deadline, we stick to the 30-day review, for example. So we do review the same for commercial as residential as a planning practice.
I do have another question,
Mhm.
and help me if this is not how we address it, but just thinking about that development area. So I live in that area, and I know in those, any of our schools that you go to, traffic is an issue. And so thinking about how we better our community, and I don't know if this is a part of a plan, or maybe it's not in your jurisdiction, maybe it's a city thing, but that, thinking about the people that are gonna live in that area, if they're gonna go to the school that is there, which is a Hollister dual language or Mays, crossing the 25 is very dangerous normally. And I live there, accidents are always happening right there on Santa Ana and 25, because the light doesn't have the little arrow like it does over on Meridian. That actually helped with the accident. So I don't know who's responsible, but if we're here about thinking about vision, one of my personal visions is safety.
Yeah.
And that area is dangerous driving, and I can't imagine having kids crossing the 25. So I don't know if that was something.
I think that can be part of your strategic idea,
Okay.
because there are multiple parties involved with that one. You have
Okay.
engineering, you have Caltrans, you have
Okay.
planning, you
Yeah,
have city
so
manager.
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not here to throw ideas on how to make costs increase. But I am gonna tell you, when I was on the city council, I spent 8 years on the Council of Governments, from 2008 until 2016. Your traffic impact mitigation fee, which is currently, I wanna say, maybe 23,000 per unit on average, is based on, and I hope this answers your question, Commissioner Hernandez, is based on what's called a constraint list of projects. Who controls that list of projects is the Council of Governments, right? 2 county supervisors, 2 city council members, or 3 city council members and 2 county supervisors. They control that constraint list of projects. Right now, the Council of Governments has initiated the review of that traffic impact mitigation fee. So I'm gonna encourage you to contact your COG representative. I know Roxanne is one, and I wanna say maybe Commissioner Resendez is another from the city. Talk to them and tell them this project is important for us. Safety on crossing, I couldn't agree with you more, Santa Ana is very dangerous crossing there. So are the others, even with the turning signal light.
Right.
It's just really just not good. But if you have ideas, the fee that we pay is all gonna be collected, and then the Council of Governments is gonna look at the projects, refer them to the jurisdiction and say, here's your bundle of money, these are the projects you should be considering, right? You have to do that. It's called the nexus study, right? You have to connect the projects to the fee, right? So again, not trying to give you any ideas on how to charge us more for traffic impact fees, but I'm saying that we do have needs.
Right.
For a long time, we dropped the fee to $14,000 a unit. Why? Because in 2014, the Council of Governments, except for myself and Commissioner Velasquez at that time, were outvoted 3-2 to remove Highway 25 from the constraint list of projects.
Wow.
For 7 years, 25 was not funded by development.
Wow.
but it was eventually put back on, but I wasn't there anymore, by Commissioner Velasquez at that time when he was mayor, and the rest of the council, or the Council of Governments, added it back on, and then the fee went back up so we could pay for 25. We need to be paying for 25, right? So again, I know that's not necessarily tentative map specific here, but I'm just sharing that's the structure of it. Peter, hopefully that helps a little bit with,
Appreciate it, thank
you.
I really appreciate that.
Victor, and also I just wanted to also emphasize the fee even went lower from 14,000. This is where there's something called level of service.
Yep.
Where it went from C, no, I think it went from C to D, correct me if I'm wrong, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
And I don't want
To lower the,
so I don't want to name any,
If
Buddy,
it
but-
happened, it happened.
Well-
I mean, it's public.
Victor, if I may, was it a current assembly member who was part of that ONCOG?
yeah, they're unfortunately, unfortunately, the level of service, as you guys know, allows us to get away with worse conditions to lower the fee. That's where Commissioner Rodriguez is coming from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I just want to emphasize, I do think, Victor, I think this project, and to your point, it is it perfect? No. Would I ask for more? Always. But I think, having the duplexes, having those things, I think are important. Now, I just want to emphasize this last part. I think this is more of an existential crisis that I don't think the affordable housing crisis is going to be solved by the private sector. It's not going to be solved by, private development. It's just not. I don't think they should have to bear the burden. I think the state and the federal government need to allocate more dollars to these areas.
That's not gonna happen.
The point being, like I said, I do think it's important that we honor, the entitlement process. We do honor our word.
So we
and
have a motion coming?
I'm going to make a motion to grant the 6.1 extension for the tentative map of 2021-5 conditional use permit north of Chapel Road.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. And thank you. And now we'll go to 6.2, conditional use permit for the determination of public convenience or necessity for the issuance of a type 21 off-sale general alcoholic beverage control license at the grocery outlet located at 550 Tres Pinos Road. Do we have a staff report? Or maybe we have the staff report.
They want a liquor license? Off-site?
As mentioned, this is a conditional use permit for a finding of public convenience or necessity for the off-site sale of alcoholic beverages. Off-site meaning you purchase it at the establishment and you take it away.
Say that again, real
You
quick.
purchase
Sorry.
it at the establishment and then you take it away. So
Oh.
like a grocery store,
Got it.
this is a grocery outlet. So, it will be at an existing facility located at 550 Tres Pinos Road. That is, an existing building. It is within the general commercial zoning district. General commercial allows a variety of retail sales, grocery, automobile retail, general retail, a variety of uses. The grocery outlet currently operates from 7 to 10, 7 days a week. They have 35 employees, and 12 employees are usually on site at any given time. At the register, as part of their alcohol sales, they currently do have beer and wine. This is going for the more stricter alcohol license. At the register, the clerks are trained in proper verification for 21 and over, and using the identification to ensure that they are permitted to purchase alcohol as required by ABC. Again, the applicant is proposing to change. They currently sell beer and wine. They'd like to sell distilled spirits as well. For ABC to issue this type of license, which is type 21, the jurisdiction, which is us, must issue a determination of public convenience and necessity. Again, they have to do this because the area has been determined by ABC to be over-concentrated. And our code also requires a conditional use permit for those seeking to have the off-site sale of alcoholic beverages. The conditional use permit has been reviewed for several things. One of the reasons that we do require a conditional use permit is to ensure that there is security measures, that the chief of police has a chance to review the proposal to ensure, again, that there's safety measures employed, there's no sales for people under 21, that they're displaying appropriately, and will not create any impacts on the surrounding area. So the application has been reviewed for compliance with all those requirements. Again, this is an existing store. In the blue area, you can see where they have their alcohol sales. It's a large store. It comprises a smaller portion of the store. Again, it's been reviewed by the police department and other departments within the city to ensure that it complies with their requirements. And police has required, as they do for these uses, additional security cameras facing the parking lot, and prohibitions or some limitations on their display to ensure that it meets the needs of the police chief. In conclusion, the request for an increase in the type of beverages sold is consistent with the requirements of the general commercial zoning district. It's consistent with the goals and policies of the general plan. It allows for some enhanced economic vitality of the business. This is not unusual. We have done several other conditional use permits and the necessity for other markets and liquor stores in the city of Hollister. We've had a few in the last year that you have been a part of. And staff is recommending that you do approve this conditional use permit. There are several conditions of approval, just so you know, that related to ensuring all the things that we talked about today. You do have your standard 4 options tonight, but we are recommending approval.
Thank you. Do we have questions from the commission?
Questions or concerns?
Whatever.
My number one concern, I understand the police, is just the fact that I do agree with ABC it was with the over concentration. There's a liquor store I think right next door to, or a couple, it's Dollar Tree, then there's a liquor store.
Larry's.
And Larry's. And I do think that there's Safeway right across the street, and then there's another liquor store that's right by, I think, Ace Hardware as well. So I do think there is an over concentration. And secondly, you know, when it comes to competing, you know, these bigger box stores are able to kind of, I think, undercut competition, smaller. Additionally, I think when it comes to police enforcement, well, first off, we talked about economic development. Well, I don't think you're going to create more people that are going to be going out to drink. I think you already have, say you have 100 people going out to buy liquor, right? Some go there, some go there, some go there. All we're doing is just dispersing the people. But what we have done is created an instance, well, guess what? Now law enforcement has to keep their eyes on Safeway, which is existing, but now they have to keep their eyes on Bargain Market, along with the liquor stores. So we've kind of, there's no real economic value, but we've dissipated it. Those are my comments personally, so.
Thank you.
I don't think we have the right to pick and choose. Otherwise, we're taking away rights from one to give to another. And what right do we have to pick one over the other? I mean, if it meets the conditions, I don't see what the issue would be.
This is why we talk about it.
Yeah.
Other questions before we go to public comment? Okay, let's open it up. Public hearing at 7:04 p.m. And do we have any public comments on this item?
Yes, we have Steve Rollings online.
Are you there? Is he there?
There we go.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Hi, good evening. My name is Steve Rawlings. I am here on behalf of Grocery Outlet. I am a consultant for them, assisting them with permits and licenses to sell alcohol in their stores here in the state of California. I wanted to make a couple of comments. First of all, we do concur with the staff's recommendation and agree to all of the draft conditions of approval as presented to you this evening. I wanted to just address a couple of things. This request is to be able to also inventory distilled spirits along with the beer and wine that the store has been selling since it opened. In order to do that, we do not expand our alcohol display area. We will simply be taking shelves, probably 2 shelves that may have been displaying wine previously, and replace that with distilled spirits. So we're not actually increasing our display area. We're just displaying an additional product in that area. Also, I wanted to say that the existing license that's there is a Type 20 license. And that license is actually being replaced with this Type 21 license. So we're actually not increasing the number of licenses in the census tract. That Type 20 license will be moved in the near future to another store. The Grocery Outlet will be opening. That location hasn't been determined just yet, but they are opening stores quite frequently each year, and so that license will leave the census tract. So there won't be any net gain of licenses there. Dollar General finds that their customers are certainly asking for this additional product line as a convenience because they don't want to necessarily have to make more than one stop to make this purchase there. And distilled spirits is something that is offered in many, if not most, of the Dollar General stores in the state of California. So with that, I'm available for any additional questions that anybody may have, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Just one that you just said, you said Dollar General? Is this not grocery?
I'm
outlet?
sorry, I may have said Dollar General, Grocery Outlet.
Okay, thank you. I thought I was, okay. And that was a question that I had. So this is a common thing for Grocery Outlet in other places?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any questions for him? Okay, thank you. Well, go ahead. Do we have any other
I do have one question.
for the caller?
Yeah. My question is there, do you have data by any chance on like when these kinds of licenses get approved? Is there an increase in, say, I guess theft when it comes to alcohol? Do you guys monitor and track those kinds of, I guess, well, obviously you do because for loss prevention, right, for the insurances. Do you guys track those? And is there an increase when these licenses are given?
Hey, great question. And the answer is no, we have not seen any kind of significant increase in shrinkage with the stores that carry the distilled spirits products. A couple of things. The alcohol display area is strategically located into the corner there, where somebody would actually have to walk by all of the checkout stands to exit the store. And that serves as somewhat of a loss prevention item there. It's also located over by where the employee like break room is, so we have a lot of employees in that particular area, and it's in plain sight of the cashiers too. So we certainly they monitor the activity that's going on in that area. Just with every retailer in the world, we do everything that we can to prevent shrinkage out of the store, shoplifting. Unfortunately, it does happen from time to time, but we at a grocery store like this, we certainly don't see high levels of that of shoplifting, and we certainly do monitor very, very closely. There is actually no insurance on shoplifted items, you end up just eating the cost for those. Each store has an independent operator who is the actual partial owner of the store, if you would, where they are tied to the profits of the store. So they're very actively monitoring everything that goes on in that store, and you'll find them there at that store probably 14 to 16 hours, 6 days a week there. And we have found that that's a great model, and it certainly goes a long ways toward customer service and loss prevention through that model there.
Okay, but in terms of tracking, you guys don't track, you're saying loss prevention.
Well, yes, we do. I mean, yeah, they track how much is shoplifted out of their stores, and they obviously try to keep that to a minimum.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:11 PM. And is there further discussion from the commission on this?
I
Or a
make a
motion?
motion to approve.
Yeah. Second?
May I make one final
Yes.
comment? I understand that I'm being maybe somewhat harsh, for some businesses selling this or selling that. My thing is, I'm trying, if I could do this, I would set these kind of provisions for every business. These businesses are grandfathered in. So one of the provisions that I think personally is, I think the city needs to be, actively part of those discussions of, for example, he was talking about shrinkage, right? I think it's important that we know how much is being stolen from liquor and stuff like that. Why? Because it takes away from city resources. Guess what? Now the police department has to respond to this, right? Not just respond to this, but have to respond to Safeway. So if we're able to track these kinds of things, we're able to say, hey, you know what? If you want to sell liquor, you have to have a big box store, for example. You have to have added security measures, not just a camera, right? Maybe a security guard, because it does require police officers to show up. That's kind of, and that's what I was going to preface was, is this something that the board would be interested in? Is like, hey, you know what? We will approve this on the conditions that in 1 year, we'd like to see, what is your loss prevention? We would like to require a security guard. Is that something we could do, Erica? We could put a condition of approval on this?
We could add a condition of approval that says something to the extent of, within 1 year of, let's say, like, start of the sale.
Yeah.
That the planning commission would like to review it during a public hearing to determine if it's following their conditions of approval, and then we could require at that time that they give us
No.
their information. Because conditional use permits, they have to require, or they have to abide by their conditions of approval for any conditional use permit. If they do not, they can be brought up on revocation.
Okay.
So like when you approve, let's say, a bar, and they have a condition of approval that says you're gonna have security cameras, and you're not gonna let people loiter, and you're not gonna have fights, et cetera, we can bring them up on revocation if they do not abide by their conditions of approval. That's the benefit of a condition of approval. No one wants to go to revocation, right?
Okay.
Because you're out a lot of money. So most people will fix it before they get to that point. But yes, we can add that as a condition of approval.
Yeah, I personally would like to see that, because if like Hollister Police Department shows up even just 3 or 4 times in say 12 months, that costs the city. They could be responding to more important calls. All I'm trying to do is just itemize the true impacts and costs to the community. That's all I'm trying to do. If I'm going too far, I get it, but is that something that you guys would all be interested in?
Is that a unique to this or big box stores? I think any business would.
I think any business, but once they're grandfathered in, I can't levy this on Target. I can't levy this, correct? Unless,
Grandfather is like an incorrect term, but no, if you grant them the conditional use permit as written today, our only opportunity for, like if the chief of police said, Erica, this grocery outlet is a huge problem, I want to revoke their CUP, that would then trigger us coming back to you.
okay. So you're saying maybe what I'm doing,
So you could do what you want to do, which is like in a year we'll review it and see how it's going. So that's a condition we can add now. Otherwise, we follow our standard practice, which is If we observe a problem, we bring it back to
Yeah.
you.
I think in a year, I would like to put the condition in 1 year, we come back, we look at like how many times the police have come out.
Comparison to what though? To give it context, what would you compare that data to?
I think we'd compare it to other box stores.
That's gonna
Around.
be harder because I can't compel them to give me information. I can only compare it to them.
Yeah, and it's also about going forward, I just wanna say, like, I can't, we can't go back and say, I think that we just set the precedent, like, this is how we are gonna do business for going forward.
I personally think it's opening up a can of worms, and it'll only get worse.
Yeah.
If I may, I do believe that the police department and police chief, working with them closely on many other items, if this store were to become an issue, they would definitely let us know and we will bring it back to you.
Fair enough.
The only businesses that are gonna have it be an issue are the ones that are gonna go out of business. It's just the default mechanism of a market that you have to be profitable and manage costs, which protecting your, ultimately not violating laws, making sure that no one's getting hurt, right? All those things are preventative measures, cost recovery measures. You're not gonna, if you're gonna invest in something, which the CUP already does, you're gonna do it for the sake of obviously preserving your business. I don't see anybody succeeding if they're out of line. You're not gonna have to have the chief of police pulling their license. I think they'll go out of business.
Well, I said if you guys wanna.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you giving that perspective. Is there any, well, there was a motion. Is there a second?
I made the motion.
Yeah.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
Nay.
One opposed, abstain, motion carries. Thank you. Next is 6.3, Master Sign Program, 2026-2, 910 4th Street. May we have the staff report?
For item 6.3, you are looking at a master sign program for Starbucks, our recently approved Starbucks, located at 910 4th Street. It's in our mixed-use zoning district. Starbucks is requesting approval of a master sign program. Their master sign program encompasses many signs. They have wall-mounted signs, they have menu board signs, they have directional signs, and they have monument signs. So several signs for their own personal use. This site plan shows the location of their signs. As you can see, there are signs throughout the site. Master sign programs require approval by the Planning Commission. An example of their wall-mounted sign, they have their logos and their standard Starbucks. And then this is their new monument sign proposed, which, again, right now requires review by the Planning Commission. As you can see on their elevations, they have building signs on their walls, and it complies with the general plan and the zoning ordinance in that they can apply for a master sign program and request signs for their development as well as their monument sign. Again, you have your 4 standard options, and staff is recommending approval of this one.
Thank you. Do we have questions from the commission?
I want it bigger.
Oh, my
I'm just kidding.
Let's go to public hearing. At 7:19, do we have public comments?
We do not have any public speakers.
All right, let's close the public hearing at 7:19 p.m. Is there further discussion from the commission on this item? All right. Everybody good with the Starbucks sign? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve item 6.3, master sign program.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? No abstention? Okay, motion carries. Welcome Starbucks to the west side. Next
I
is
know, to the west.
to the west side, yeah. I mean,
VH.
I think that's good. Yeah. Huh? Oh, you're right. Welcome back.
Where were they?
That's right.
Really?
Speaking of businesses that
And they
went out
didn't
of
do good there?
business. They left and came back.
I think they they changed their business model and they're starting to reset up shop.
Well, it wasn't a drive-through, and now it's a
Yeah, I
drive-through,
think
right?
there's a whole different,
Yeah, which is
rethought.
it's gonna be good. Anyways, okay, 6.4, site and architectural review 2025-10 to construct exterior modifications and an outdoor dining space located at 713 San Benito Street. May we have the staff report?
Keep doing that, sorry. This project is located within the downtown area. It's within the downtown mixed-use zoning district. It is an existing building on a property, that is currently developed with, it was previously, I think, a tattoo shop and it's been some retail uses. They are proposing exterior modifications. That is why we are before you tonight. This is what the building will look like once it is complete. It is an enhancement over the existing site. They are also proposing to remove an exterior accessory building shed that was built many years ago that's used for storage and some other things. They're going to remove that off the back of the building. So between the building and the alley, they will construct a new outdoor dining area for their patrons. It will be surrounded by a fence, but it'll be a nice addition to the area. This is one of the buildings that is not located within the city's parking assessment district. By changing the storage building to outdoor dining, it increases the parking need of the space by 6 parking spaces. They obviously cannot put parking spaces on their site. A parking reduction was previously granted on December 11th, 2025 for the interior of the building. The building again was changed from a retail use to a restaurant. It required additional parking spaces. They cannot provide any parking on that space. It is a very small lot within the downtown. There is on-street parking in the surrounding area. There's also the city's parking garage that patrons can park in by requiring people to park their car and walk to the site. It further activates the downtown and promotes a use of the downtown area. Staff is, as part of this project, also recommending approval of the parking reduction for this property. In conclusion, the design of the building is very attractive. It will certainly enhance views of the area. The use of the space as a restaurant provides additional services for residents, activates the downtown. The outdoor dining space provides another amenity for the downtown and the residents in the area, and available parking does exist in the surrounding area, so a parking reduction is warranted. Again, our standard options for tonight, but staff is recommending that you approve the project as proposed.
Okay, do we have questions from the commission?
So you were reducing the requirement on parking. How do they assess that? Is that based off of capacity, the restaurant capacity?
So what we have done, it is hard in the downtown because we still have parking requirements in the downtown. And we do have people that have paid into a parking assessment district that was done many years ago. It's 1975, 76, it was a long time ago. And those people paid into the parking assessment district to reduce their parking requirements. And that is why we have parking in the alleys that is open to the public. So there are certain buildings that paid into it, but not everyone did. And so the method of determining what occurs in the downtown is that standard retail parking requirement is assessed to all the buildings, and if they intensify, we have a problem. So in this case, going from retail, which is 1 to 250, 1 to 300 square feet for retail uses, restaurants are 1 to 100. So that's a significant increase, right? Because restaurants do tend to generate a higher demand for parking. So we park outdoor dining the same as we park indoor dining, and so the inside plus the outside, they have a higher parking demand than what currently exists on the site. And it's not feasible to require them to put, I can't remember off the top of my head, but let's say even if it was 2 parking spaces, the site's not gonna accommodate that. So when these businesses have been coming up, the solution that we have come up with in the interim of a better solution is that the parking reduction we recommend approval of, both either at a staff level, and they can request it at a staff level. This one was coming to anyways. But then they have a condition that says if we ever come to an in lieu parking fee or another parking assessment district, that they're going to cooperate and be a part of that so that we can build more parking.
Thank you. Any other questions before we open to public hearing? Okay, let's go ahead and open it at 7:25 PM. Do we have public comment?
Yes, we have Jason Ricketts.
Good evening. My name is Jason Ricketts. I'm one of the co-founders of HOL Bros. I'd like to start by thanking the Planning Commission for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'd also like to thank our customers and members of the community for your continued support throughout this process. Your excitement and encouragement has been a great deal to myself, my family, and our team. This project represents more than just a new restaurant to us. We are a small family company built on hard work and the belief that great food and a welcoming environment can bring people together. We are proud of what we've created thus far with Hopper Bros Food Truck and over the past 4 years, and we're excited to be a larger part of the community moving forward. We'd also like to recognize everyone who has helped us get to this point, our advisors, designers, contractors, staff, city personnel, and all those who have contributed their time and effort. We truly believe this quick-serve Asian fusion restaurant will be a great addition to the city of Hollister, bringing a positive energy, jobs, and something the community can enjoy for years to come. We'd be honored to earn your approval tonight. Thank you again for your time and support.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
The only thing I want the record to reflect is I do think, eventually the parking, I think, will become an issue. I mean, inevitably, that's what we want. We want business to come. We want we want a thriving downtown. So I think, parking will be an issue. All I ask is the same thing is I hope 10 years goes by and it's just packed and we're dying for a new parking garage. All I ask is buy into, say we need a new parking garage. We need to finance this parking garage. That's all I ask. So I like I said, I'm all on board for this. I think this is exactly what Hollister needs, and like I said, so.
Thank you. We're still on public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No other speakers.
Okay.
Feel free to.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. It's okay.
To cut them off.
It's okay. It's okay. Keep it friendly. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:28 p.m. Do we have further discussion?
I'm grateful for this project. I think it's an amazing opportunity for the downtown. Personally, Commissioner Rodriguez, the idea of parking getting worse is actually a problem that I think is business by default is proving that it's doing its job, driving that need, and ultimately, obviously, increasing the demand for capacity anyways, which we already knew prior to even this project coming forward. But the diversity needed for our downtown to thrive, Asian fusion is something that definitely is there already. Ultimately, I know personally what it's like to start a business from an idea conception and ultimately starting even through a catering vehicle and then gravitating into a brick and mortar, which honestly, it's probably one of the hardest realities that I've seen and met plenty of owners of businesses that they actually gravitate towards the catering vehicle first because it's more cost effective in managing, scaling your business and growing the market, and then finally being able to afford something like a brick and mortar. So I want to make sure that we set good precedent and giving ultimately signaling to the business community that we appreciate and support small businesses like that start from the bottom up and really build something really nice. So thank you for bringing this project forward.
And this is just approving the change to the back, right? The patio, the business has already been approved, or?
Well, restaurant use is a permitted use in the downtown, so they don't need permission. This is for the exterior modifications to the outside of the building, as well as the outdoor dining area, and then the parking reduction. So it's 3 components.
I agree. I think this is exciting. I think we need it. We've talked about, businesses and coming from you and how you talked about your story. That's what we want. That's what we want to support. So congratulations, right, for your efforts, and excited to go check it out.
Yeah, we're grateful for you choosing Hollister. I know you operate in San Juan as well. Is there a reason why you chose Hollister versus?
You know, it's a big customer base here. You know, a lot of our social media following is in this area, and we've had a great experience at the farmers market. So, figured this is a great spot to really, you know, sink our teeth into and take that next step.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And I think you're right to your point of the parking, because, you know, I come down here too, and it's like, where do I park? But that's a good thing. This
Yeah.
is what we want. So our downtown's looking better, and hopefully it'll, you know, everything will be,
Right.
everything will work for all of us, for you and for us as well. So, do we have a motion?
I'd love to make the motion to move forward. Item 6.4, site architectural review to construct exterior modifications outdoor dining space at 713 San Benito Street.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And next here is Planning Commission reports.
Commission business, yeah.
Do we, right? Or did I skip one?
It's commission business, but there's nothing on the.
Okay, there's
So
nothing there.
So if
Yeah.
there's any, is this item specific would be to us talking about future items, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, along the lines of what we were just talking about, I think it'd be really good if we can have an agenda item actually going over the,
Future items.
well, just the process, right? How do we become a more functional, practical, planning commission, giving good feedback to the city council, ultimately giving good support to our planning staff, and yeah, you know, expediting efficiency for our business community, you know. I'd like to see some more specific, you know, the strategic plan just keeps coming to mind, but I think that's kind of like maybe a little bit premature, at least for us, but at least kind of going down that road of what does that look like for us to be more functional, and then see how we fit into the bigger picture of the council driving that policy.
You bet. And we will be agendizing that topic for the next meeting, including some updates on, you know, future strategic planning and that throughout the community and how we approach that, especially through community engagement and such things.
Perfect, thank you. So now we'll go to 8.1, Planning Commission reports. Do we have any reports from the commission? Except that we had the meeting earlier,
Yeah,
right?
and there will be a quarterly, it sounds like, for the joint
Joint
meeting
city
with the
council
city
and-
council.
And Planning Commission, and I think she said something in August. Okay, perfect. Thank you all for attending that earlier. And staff, do we have any reports?
The only report I have is that the city council at their last meeting on April 20th approved the general plan, the housing element, and all the other zoning ordinance amendments that went with it. The general plan takes effect in 30 days. The housing element takes effect right away. And the zoning ordinance amendments require a second reading and then 30 days to take effect after that. Once the second reading occurs, staff will submit the housing element to HCD for hopefully certification.
Wow.
Excellent, thank you so much. And I think our meeting is ready to be adjourned at 7:34. Thank you.
Thank you.